This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt stuck, whether it's a major life transition, a dark night of the soul, or just staying small out of fear. If you've ever struggled to move forward, if you're repeating unhealthy patterns in relationships, or you have a black belt in beating yourself up, you were meant for more, and this podcast is for you. We'll get real, we'll get vulnerable, we'll probably cuss a little bit, and we'll get to the root of it all, your self-worth. With every step, you'll find the courage to rise. Welcome to this week's episode of the Courage to Rise podcast. Today, I want to spend some time talking with you about the range of human emotions and why it's important that we normalize showing that range in a healthy way. So this week on my blog, I shared a story about some sadness that I was feeling. And I shared that I had a period of probably about 24 hours where I had a lot of tears. I had a lot of emotions. I felt a lot of sadness. I was feeling my own personal grief and heartbreak around some things. I was crying for collective pain that I'm feeling for what we're going through as a global society right now, feeling pain for people in my life that are being impacted by the coronavirus in various ways, crying for the depths of kindness that I'm seeing from humans in this time, and equally crying for the depths of cruelty and absurdity that I'm seeing, and crying for the beauty and power of the human spirit, which triumphs against all odds. And I share this with you because it's important to understand, and it's important for it to be okay that we all have a range of human emotions. And I have always been one to feel things very intensely in this world. Even as a kid, my mom used to comment on this. I always felt things very intensely, both happy and sad, and everything in between. And I didn't understand it for the longest time. I thought it just made me weird. And now I know that it makes it possible for me to do the work that I do because I do have that range and that intensity, and that it's actually a superpower, and that it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with me, that it's actually very normal. And it is that intensity of emotions that allows us to experience the entire rainbow, the full tapestry of this human experience. And the reason that I share so vulnerably and openly about the things that I experience and the things I've experienced, the dark nights of the soul, the ups, the downs, is because I want to normalize the fact that we have all of these emotions. And it's interesting because when you talk openly about something like this, I said very clearly in my post, like, hey, guys, I know everything's going to be okay. There's no question in my mind that we will find another side to this. And also, we're experiencing a range of emotions during this. And I'm not just talking about this event. This is what is on everyone's mind for very good reason. But this is true of any kind of pain that you're going through, any kind of healing, any kind of heartbreak, any kind of grief. You're going to experience a range of emotions. And there is sort of this pervasive, unspoken idea that if you're crying and if you're sad, that somehow you're not okay. And that's actually not true. And when we perpetuate this idea, this whole positive vibes only thing, it is well intended, but it ignores the fact that we do have a full spectrum of emotions, and it is not mutually exclusive. And it's important to understand that you can deeply know, as I do, I have absolute faith and trust, we are going to have another side to this. We are going to get through this, and this too shall pass. There is no doubt in my mind. And still, have days and moments and times and ups and downs where you're feeling the sadness, where you're feeling heavy. That's part of the process. And it is vitally important that we honor that and we allow that. Otherwise, there is this false idea that you should, and you know how much I love that word, only feel good 100% of the time. Look at the seasons. Look at nature. Nature is never 100% anything all of the time. There are seasons, right? There's winter, spring, summer, fall. If you live in Colorado where I do, you get all 4 of those seasons in one day. And there are seasons and cycles to things. And it's okay that you feel the range of emotions. And I think sometimes there is a fear or a notion that we will somehow get stuck in it, or that if you're showing sadness or expressing that you're going through something, that somehow you're not okay. And that's why I posted about that, is I want to share that, no, it's okay. And everybody has days like that. And I have spent years and years going inward, understanding myself, learning more about myself so that I can be able to put all my shit out here on the internet for everyone to consume or not as they see fit. And used myself as the human guinea pig here to get to the point where I can tell you definitively, yeah, you're still going to have a range of emotions. The takeaway and how we become truly healthy is you allow those things to be there and you stop fighting them. When you can really become truly accepting of what's coming up in you and not fighting it, it's going to come up, it will pass, and then you can move on through it. And that's why it's so important to normalize the range of human emotions. Just because you have a day or a couple hours or a time where you cry, you feel the emotions, or you feel some anger come up, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. And it's not something to be ashamed of, and it's not something to hide. Congratulations, you're human. Welcome to the human experience. And I think that there is almost a fear or a feeling that you can't allow all these things, that it will prevent you from being positive, from moving forward. And that's absolutely not true. And I've shared about this probably ad nauseum on the last few podcasts, but it's so vitally important, and I'll continue to talk about it, is that the way to move forward in your life is to honor the feelings that you have and move forward. None of these are mutually exclusive. It's not either or. It's not either you honor your feelings or you move forward and into positive mindset and action. It's both of those together. And feeling a range of feelings and emotions about things is absolutely normal. What's not normal is this idea that we only put on a positive front. And we know social media is great for that, right? We put, hey, and listen, I do my hair and fix my hair before I do videos and things too, of course, right? And also, let's show the other side to it too. And that's why I post the picture with no makeup after I've been crying for 24 hours, because that's real life too. And we have both. And you can't look at someone's very curated life on social media and assume somehow that is reality and that is all they are, is just smiles and, perfect hair and whatever else, perfect families, whatever you see. Because then we say, oh, well, I should be this way. That's not real life. Real life is messy. It is messy, and it is beautiful, and it is hard, and it is incredible. Sometimes all at the same time. And that is what makes this human experience truly exceptional. And when we stop pretending or thinking that we can only feel positive things all the time, and that's the only thing we can show to the world, how much better off are we going to be? Because think about it. When you hear somebody say, oh yeah, I had a rough day yesterday. I it just kind of got to me. I broke down and I cried. What does that do? That shows you, oh, it's okay to be human, right? And that's what this is all about, is let's not pretend that we all don't have moments, that we all don't get overcome by sadness or grief. It is so fucking normal. What's not normal is this feeling that somehow we have to fix people. And it's well intended, and I understand, but there's this need that, by the way, no one asked you to do, to jump in and fix someone. And it was interesting to me when I posted about this that I had a few people say, oh, Jen, it's going to be okay. I'm like, guys, I know it's going to be okay. I think I even said that. I know it's going to be okay. I have unshakable faith and trust that we're going to get to the other side of this. I have unshakable faith and trust that every heartbreak, every grief, every loss, every pain that you or I have ever experienced will come with another side. And the storm will pass and the sun will shine, and another storm will come and it will pass and the sun will shine again. There is no doubt in my mind about that. And also, I'm still human and you're still human, and it's okay to have a range of emotions about things. And instead of fighting sadness, what if we just let it move through us? What if we honored it, and then it will move through us faster? Because it's there. And the more that we ignore those feelings and shove them down into a corner, the more they're going to start coming out in other ways. And this is why sometimes you will catch yourself all of a sudden feeling a burst of very strong emotions, either anger or sadness. Usually those are the top two. Or, frustration. It's because we've been suppressing something, and it's going to eventually bubble up. And that's why we want to ask ourselves and tune into, how am I feeling today? How am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling okay. No, I'm feeling I'm feeling a little tender today. I'm feeling a lot of heaviness right now, or I'm really feeling the depth of heartbreak or grief around something. And understand that these things just come in waves. And the more that you just allow them to come, give yourself space, because which is more, I'm going to use the word efficient, but which is the more efficient? If you're feeling sadness, and if you sit down and let yourself cry, journal about it if you journal, whatever practice it is you do to move those things out and let it be there, then you're going to feel better on the other side of it. You're going to feel that release, as opposed to just what we normally do, which we really can't do now because we are on sort of a universal pause in terms of life as we knew it, is running faster, harder, doing more, staying busy to avoid feeling what we feel. And those feelings do not go away. They don't go away. They will come up somewhere. And that's when you get into patterns of numbing and bypassing what you're feeling. And that's when we get into periods of, we want to take a pill to make it go away. We want to drink another glass of wine to make it go away. We want to, use some other coping mechanism that in the long run is going to become very disempowering. And so the way that we move through these things is let yourself be a fucking human being. And let yourself feel what you feel. Let yourself feel the sadness and feel these things. And the other thing I want to say that tends to come up around this is this idea that somehow you are not entitled to, entitled is maybe not the right word, but that you are not entitled to feel your feelings because someone else has it worse. Yes, someone always has it worse than you, and someone will always have it better than you. And these are not the metrics that we're using to judge anything or to measure anything. What's important in this is keeping perspective and using gratitude to count our blessings while also honoring that it's okay for you to have feelings. I am counting so many blessings during this period, and there's so many things I am grateful for, and I am counting those on a daily basis. And also, it's still okay to feel sadness, to feel grief, to feel loss. When we start to tell ourselves, oh, I shouldn't feel this way because, so-and-so has it worse, or so-and-so lost their job from this, so I shouldn't feel sad about, my circumstances, that's diminishing you. And it's actually honestly diminishing the other person too. But how we honor these things is we hold these things in their separate places, in that it is okay for you to experience emotions relative to your own immediate experience. And you can be absolutely, deeply grateful, and you should be, and you should count your blessings. And it's also okay that this is impacting you. This or anything is impacting you. You are allowed to have your emotions. You're allowed to have your feelings. And you can also keep them in perspective. So remember that, because I hear this so much, and I've heard it a lot in the last couple of weeks. Oh, I shouldn't feel this way because, so-and-so has it worse. Well, you can feel both of those things. You can feel compassion for the experience that they're going through, and you can feel gratitude that your experience is different, and you can still feel emotions about what's happening and what you're going through, because you are still a feeling human being. So yeah, keep things in perspective, and let's count our blessings. And let's also let ourselves feel the things that come up, because they're very real. And that is how you create a healthy environment within yourself, is you remember it's not mutually exclusive. And you have the entire range of human emotions within you. And just because you cry or have a day where you feel sad, it doesn't mean you're not okay. And let's remember that too when we have someone else that's vulnerably sharing that. It doesn't mean you're not okay. It just means you're human, and that you care so much that it's leaking out of your eyes now. And that's okay. That's part of what allows us to feel everything and to love others and to really experience all that's available to us in this human experience. So what I want to leave you with today is let yourself feel what comes up. And of course, it's about processing it in a healthy way, right? It's always in how you handle it. If you're feeling anger come up, taking it out on someone else is maybe not the healthiest expression of that, right? Because we want to bring it back to ourselves at the end of the day. We want to bring it back to, what is this sadness? What's it telling me? If it had a story to tell, what would it be telling me? This anger, this frustration, what is it actually an indication of? And bring that back into yourself and ask yourself those questions. It's an invitation to go within yourself and to also always know these things come in waves. There are seasons, storms pass, and so does the sunshine. And the way that you resource yourself through all of it is knowing that, is connecting to your faith and your trust that things are going to be okay in the long run, and letting yourself ride the waves of emotions and anchoring back to what you know to be true within yourself. And know that it is okay to cry. It's okay to ugly cry. It's okay to journal it out. Whatever feels good. There's nothing wrong with you. Welcome to the human experience. We are all human, and that is the great unifier in all of this, as we are constantly being reminded. So I'm sending you guys so much love. It's okay to feel your feels. And always remember to sparkle on. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Courage to Rise podcast. Visit my website, couragetorise.com, for more information on one-on-one coaching, group coaching programs, and other upcoming events. Remember, life's too short not to sparkle. Sparkle on.